So I'm Scott Koegler, and I'm talking with Scott Prevost, Microsoft, and Bing.
Nice to be here.
What is your title?
I'm Principal Development Manager at Bing, and I'm General Manager of PowerSet, which was a startup that was acquired by Microsoft about a year and a half ago.
All right,
which
great.
is part of Bing.
Okay, well, so one of the things I've been trying to find out is trying to make the transition from semantics as a highly technical kind of mystery stuff that only the really brainiac enabled folks understand, and where's that coming out into the public view so that end users can use it and so that companies can make money with it. So I'm hoping that you can tell me a couple places.
Well, I think that in general, there's been this view that semantic search would someday emerge, someday in the future, and there would be this sort of voila moment, and the whole world would have semantic search. And in fact, the world already does have semantic search, or aspects of it, in the search engines that they're using today. And so it's really affecting all kinds of different areas, from the way queries are interpreted to the way documents are interpreted when they're crawled and indexed, to the kind of experiences that you actually have when you interact with the search engine.
Okay.
So everything from helping you to refine your query, to giving direct answers on the page, to providing better snippets for the results that sort of are a better guide to whether or not it's good to click on something.
So kind of pre-announcing what it is you're going to see before you go look at it.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Sort of helping to organize the information on the search page in a way that people can really understand what's there and make smart choices and do less of the click and go back and click and go back and just try to struggle to find what they're looking for.
Right, because that's always been the challenge is how do you actually find out of 2.5 million possible hits.
Right. And so part of it is using the technology to improve the relevance of the results so that the really best results do rise to the top. Right. Making sure that when you present those results, you present them in a way that really accurately portrays the relevance of the document. And then sometimes just providing the answer to the user right on the search page.
Right.
Yeah. And of course, the focus for us at Bing is really to try to think about the tasks that people are doing with search engines. Don't just think about search as a query and a page of results, but really think about the whole session. What are the users trying to do? And then sort of giving them the tools at every step of their process.
Okay. And how does that show up then? Give me an example of what happens.
So it shows up in a lot of ways, from really simple things like when you type a query in Bing on the left-hand side, you'll see some filters for your query or some sort of follow-on query. Okay. So we've sort of anticipated the kind of next steps that you might take. If you type the name of a person, you might get biographical information, images, all the sorts of things that you might look for.
Okay.
If you're planning a trip, you might get information about flights, but you're also going to find reviews of places and travel guides. So we want to sort of anticipate all of the things that are part of your decision-making process and organize that information in a compelling way for the user.
Right. And in terms of getting that information, there's obviously the session that I initiated and all the strokes that I did during that session. Does it go beyond that? I know that some facilities will look at my social media, my LinkedIn page, those kind of things.
I think there'll be more and more of that as we go forward. Right now, what you mostly get on search engines are documents on the web and some news, and the news is sort of the freshest information.
Right.
But now, of course, we have sites like Twitter and Facebook where people are creating new content all the time and they're constantly publishing, and so there's just this amazing volume of information. Right. So part of the challenge is going to be how do we weave that into the search experience in a meaningful way? How do we know which of those communications are important? Right. And we can look at things like the social graph to help us understand who the important people are and what are the important topics that they're talking about. But it's really an exciting new area for search engines.
Yeah.
Just evolving.
How do you see that turning into a monetization? I mean,
Well,
for Microsoft, it stands on the page, I assume.
Sure. Yeah. I think anytime you can provide a better user experience, you can build your customer base. So it's that simple. Just let's get better. Certainly, semantic technologies can help us in matching ads to users' queries. Right. So you can even imagine situations where you might get fewer impressions, but they're better impressions,
right,
because they're really targeted to the meaning of your ad and the meaning of the user's query. Mm-hmm. But in general, really, semantic technologies are just pushing search engines to have higher and higher relevance and to be able to satisfy users' needs more. And as we do that, we build query share and user volume.
Okay. Right.
One thing that semantic technologies can ultimately do is save publishers and advertisers a lot of time and energy in trying to game the search engines.
Right.
So basically what advertisers do now is they write their message, but then they throw in every other possible keyword combination that they want to trigger on. Right. And what that does is it kind of confuses their message sometimes.
Sure.
And it's a lot of work. So they're essentially doing all of the semantic markup work for us. Okay. The promise of semantic technology is that much of that could be automated, so that an advertiser could merely state their value proposition very clearly and let the search engine figure out what it means and how that maps to user queries. And it could level the playing field for advertisers. So there are some now who are making heavy investments in this kind of optimization, and others who either aren't able to make the investment or just don't have the expertise. But I think with semantics in search, it's really it's here now, and it's just incremental. Okay. I don't know if there will be some grand unveiling at some point in the future. I do think that pace of innovation is going to accelerate, and we'll see just a lot more very targeted kinds of tasks that are covered. A lot more kind of rich information on the page and more tools to help us understand the information that's being provided.
Right. All right, well, we're with Scott Prevost, Bing, Microsoft, and interesting things. I mean, great stuff going on there.
We're really excited
I'm a user,
about
actually.
it. Great.
Yeah, so it's
we're
terrific.
Glad to have you.
So thanks for stopping. I appreciate your time. All right.